Ever have one of those days, like, you can't sleep? You're staring at the damn ceiling, and you can't stop thinking about that one coworker, the one you're attracted to, but you don't know what to do. Or how about those numbers in your bank account? The meaningless trickling in and out of money in your life. How are you feeling today, even? No, really, how are you feeling? Is the daily noise in your life just bogging you down with insanity? Are you worn out? Are you thinking about a sad moment from your past, one that you just simply still have not moved on from? I just want to open up this video by saying I get it. I understand and I empathize. Because you see, to me, this could very easily be the daily thoughts of everybody. By reminding myself that I'm not unique in these kinds of thoughts, I can put myself in a headspace that allows for dealing with them, for conquering them. What I'm saying is this: we all, on some level, have some level of misery, and it's just a symptom. It needs treatment like any other symptom, but it's always part of something bigger. And what I wanted to talk about is how I deal with my daily misery, my daily suffering. One of the things that works for me. Now, the more common response to these feelings, of course, are fine, are acceptable to me. This is just one of the ways I deal with it. I do also enjoy my more recreational things, and I'll openly admit that I've had my bout with alcoholism. It's eh. The temptation to go out and just buy a bottle of liquor and slowly forget everything in my head is basically something I live with every second of the day. So I can preach the benefits of moderating all day, but really that doesn't magically kill the drive to self-destruct. These days I moderate well enough, I'm fine with it, but I didn't wake up like this. The road to get to the point I'm at now was, yeah, it was painful, but I think there's a few things I wish I had tried earlier in my life. So I'm going to pretend I didn't just write myself into a corner, because there wasn't really a segue, and I'm going to get on with it. What's up with the title? What does that mean? Okay, let's go. Yeah, personally, back when I did drink, every time I drank heavy, I was reaching for kind of a place, an emptiness, a place in my mind where there is nothing. You see that philosophical hole in every person. That was my place, my personal little slice of heaven, where there's no memories, no needs, no pressure, no thinking, just nothing. There's no personhood. I discovered this new feeling probably around 17, and I dubbed it my place. Every party I went to, that was it. I would smoke, I would drink, I would take anything until I could find my place. Only there I could be, on some level, happy. A sort of comfortable autopilot where no one hates me and life is just the movements. Obviously, this is not a healthy and sustainable way to live. But for a lot of people, this is every day. I know it is. I'm not the only one. And I want to introduce a concept, one that you may have not considered. What if you could just walk into that place? Slowly, carefully, but sober. What if you could just sit alone in the place with all your faculties intact? What if you could take, to start with, a short trip into nothing? As a primer, I first need to introduce the idea of doing nothing. There's this drive towards automatic productivity installed in a lot of us. And it serves as nothing but a stressor and a huge roadblock to any kind of serenity or enlightenment or whatever your word of choice is for that feeling. The bootstraps, the machismo, the insane time crunches, the life script where everything's planned out, you know everything you're gonna do. There's the tenets of how you're supposed to live that are just endowed onto you, they're just dropped on you. Before even attempting to reach your own little place, you need to be willing to toss all that aside, to just dump it. Dump all of that. Even for a minute. Just learn how to just be. That's it. Just learn how to just be. I know I'm probably losing people already here. Like, I get that this is a crazy idea, but this is my video, so this is what I'm talking about. And none of what I talk about, or none of my ideas, a lot of them, make any sense without at least a comprehending something known as Wu Wei. I know that before this point, it's been kind of obvious I'm a bit of a nihilist, but that's not everything I'm about. There's some Taoism in there. I do like other things. So the basics. Wu Wei is the action of non-action, the doing of not doing. It is basically inaction in action is the best way to put it. It is simply being and being okay with that. A more basic definition is ceasing any action without purpose. Your default mode of being is just flowing. It's just moving. That's all it is. Letting go is the key here. Acknowledging that we are all one, together, living and moving, forever changing. Time is forever moving. Wu Wei is not about controlling nature. It is being with nature. I'm really shit at describing this, or at least I think I am. But some examples, if you pay attention to, say, The Dude and The Big Lebowski, the movie, and how he reacts to most situations. It's along those lines. I recently rewatched it about a month ago, and I couldn't help but notice his willingness to simply just walk the fuck away from social situations that were really intense, but at the end of the day had zero importance. Winnie the Pooh has been used to illustrate this concept. With his inclination to simple living and just being happy with that. All he does is relax with honey and question why the hell people keep doing so much. That's basically the character, and that's Wu Wei. To call it a mode or some sort of goal is missing the point. Taoism in general is about living in the present. The best way, I think, to wrap your mind around all of this is to think of the universe itself and how it's never the same moment to moment. Every day, you wake up, and that's it. That's an experience. It simply is. You simply are. So enough of that rambling. From this point, I can now go into how I find my place these days. With a loosened up mind, with some free thinking rattling around now, you can discover a lot about yourself and others. Enter relaxation without chemicals. Well, probably mostly. To be completely upfront, obviously, I do still have the occasional drink, and I do partake daily if possible. But with this practice, I can manage to get by without needing these things necessarily. What I do is basically a once a week reset button on my stress levels. So here's what I do. I'll start with where I started. I started taking a weekly bath. Yeah, I know all of that talking just so I can tell you that I take a bath once a week. But it's not just that. It's not about that. It's about the movement. So here's what I do. I close the door. I kill the lights. When all I leave is I light a candle. I turn the hot water all the way up. There's no sounds. And I don't move generally as much as I can. I lie there in the hot water and I just close my eyes or look at the light. And during this time, with all outside forces cleared from my present, I let go of my focus, of all focus. There is no stress. There is no worries. I let the hot water relax me, and I just drift slowly into a state where everything sort of falls into place. When I first started, I would have music going simply to anchor me. Because when truly letting go, my fear was of losing my grip on reality or losing grip of myself. Because that's an issue I've had. Or a fear of facing a part of myself I simply could not face. So when I started, I quickly learned that if I put on some music during this, it generally was a safer move. Something more trance or ethereal or some sort of mood music is a good choice. I have maybe 2 albums I go to, and you want an album or a playlist, you want something predictable. You don't want to be thrown off by it. I'd also recommend a 30-minute timer if you try this. I keep putting off getting an egg timer to avoid having my phone with me, but a timer is a good idea. You want to try this for 30 minutes and just go from there. So now go back and think back to the beginning of this video and think of all that misery, all those things I mentioned, and all the things that make your life miserable, and ask yourself when you're in this place, why is this misery controlling me? Why am I allowing this? Think through the processes in your mind. Break it all down. As I said, misery is a symptom, and this is the place where you find your problems. In the hot water, focus your search through the caverns of yourself and the reasons for you. Think slowly, and you want to aim for thinking without any real intention. Like, remember when I mentioned Wu Wei? This is the part where it comes in. The goal is to just ride through the river of your conscious thoughts. To let go and just let what happens happen. Just be. Now, I know this all sounds really sketchy. I don't know. It is a weird place to be, but it is definitely a state. And it's worth noting, of course, that sometimes I do this whole routine, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. You can go through this whole thing, and it just might not click into place. Sometimes it's just a nice bath. Not every Wednesday afternoon has a revelation, and not every mind is changed overnight. And when I say hot water, I do mean super hot water, the hottest you can do it. Also, have a solid like 2 liters of water on hand for when you're done, and try to be aware of your breathing. More than once, I've slipped into a panic or some sort of anxiety cycle while doing this, so I would recommend square breathing. Look into square breathing and practice it some beforehand. And hey, I know the idea of completely clearing your thoughts and rummaging around in your own mind is frightening to some people, and it's not for everyone. This video is just me explaining my own personal method of, I guess this is a kind of meditation. I guess I could use that word. I don't think of it like that, but I'm not good at giving words to actions. But yeah, to each his own, you know. Thanks for getting to this point. I'd be fascinated if even one person manages to bother listening to this whole thing. So congrats, you did it. Thanks for watching. I have a Twitter, and I don't have anything else at the moment. So like, comment, subscribe, maybe even throw a suggestion out into the ether. I'm a bit all over with ideas, mostly really random stuff. So thanks for listening.